mummifying him.
I'm mummifying him. He's going to be a mermaid. I'm going to put little shell bras on.
Right,
Right, I'm going to make the tail first.
Hello everyone, just thought I'd drop in for the end of this vlog to say thank you very much for joining us on our holiday vlog. I really enjoyed making it. Slightly different format in that somehow I just didn't feel like talking to the camera a lot whilst we were there. I just felt like capturing what was happening. Sorry, I've got an itch on my eye there. And then I thought I'll sit and chat about the projects that I've been working on and things when I get back. So I hope you've enjoyed watching all of our fun and frolics and all the different things we got up to. And just stick that over there. Oh, actually, just plug my phone in because the battery isn't very full and I don't want it to cut out. There we go. And I've got my new nifty power bank, which I bought for going on holiday with, which is fantastic. Recommend for everybody. So first of all, I wanted to just show you a finished object, which is this hat. And it's the Simple Pleasures hat by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern available on Ravelry, and I would guess I got it from Ravelry, but I would guess it's also available from their website as well. Ooh. Hello, Suzanne of the Future here. Very tired Suzanne of the Future, dropping in to say, I don't think I mentioned that I knitted this because Cherie from Ollie and Bella podcast is running a knit along for this pattern. So if you're interested, pop over to her group on Ravelry and have a look at that. There's also a hashtag which is Simple Pleasures Cal, K-A-L, on Instagram. Ooh. And it's got this lovely long squishy 2x2 rib, and then the stocking stitch part at the top. It's knitted in fingering weight yarn and a fluffy lace weight yarn, but this is knitted with 2 strands held together, so it's more like a worsted Aran weight, and then this is 1 strand of the fingering weight yarn held with the fluffy stuff. I'll pop it on for you so you can see how it looks on. I was right on when I measured my head, I was right at the very top end of the measurement scale for the small hat. I thought if I'd knitted the large hat, it would have been far too big. But if I'd made the small one, it might have been sort of squeezing off my head a bit. So in the end, because you knit the rib part with a smaller needle, and then you go on to a slightly larger needle for the stocking stitch portion. So in the end, what I did was I knitted the rib and the stocking stitch portion in the larger hook size. Yeah, your hair looks really great there, Suzanne. Well done. There we go. But it's going to be very cosy. It doesn't need coziness right now. It's very warm and a little bit close today. I've flattened my hair now. Do some floofing. There we go. So the yarn, this yarn is Chromatic Yarns by Hannah from the Corner of Craft, and the colour is the Merino Sock, and the colour is Aura of Vitality. And I would like some more of this to knit some socks in because the colours in it are delightful. And then the fluffy stuff that I knitted the top bit in is actually the Sori Alpaca Silk lace weight fluff, and that's actually some that I dyed to go with it. And I'm starting to stock that in the shop as well, so I'm just working on getting used to dyeing it at the moment, so I've got some exciting plans for that in the future. But I thoroughly enjoyed. I can't remember what size needle I knitted it on, whether it was a 4 or a 4.5. I'll have to check that, I'm sorry. I actually finished it before we went away. So that's one to go in the drawer for winter time. And then new cast-ons. The first thing I started is living in a Christmas bag, of course, but it is a Christmas project. And this is a bag that Cherie made me from Ollie and Bella. And I love it, and it's very in keeping with the theme. And the pattern that I'm knitting is the Candy Cane Cowl. It's not a free pattern. It's by the Teasel Cottage Mouse, but it is for does raise money for charity, so that's what the finished one will look like. I'm using slightly different yarn to the pattern's recommendation because it suggests... Oh, hang on. No, I'm telling absolute lies. Total lies. I am using it. A skein of sock weight fingering 4-ply and a skein of Baby Sori Alpaca, Mulberry Silk or lace weight yarn or similar. It's knitted on needle size, 4.5mm needles. And I'm knitting it in Magic Loop. And I'm using... Again, this is Greenlambkin yarn. This is one of my oldest Christmas colourways called Candy Cane Forest. And this is a skein of the floof, I call it fuzzy lace in my shop, but it's exactly the same base as a lot of other yarn dyes. A lot of people call it cloud. And this is very pale green. It looks yellow on screen, but it's very pale green and very pale pink, just to coordinate and add a little bit of interest. And this is how far I am going with it. I've got with it, I should say. So I'm actually not that far off, but I think I'm just going to keep going a little while longer. I like a nice long warm one. And what's really good about this yarn is that it doesn't irritate me in the same way that mohair does. I've got a little glass candy cane progress keeper on there, which I made. They aren't in the shop, but I'm going to be having something very similar in the shop very soon. And the reason I'm knitting this now, apart from the fact that I love knitting with this combination of yarns, is that July's coming up, which means Christmas in July, and I would like very much to have kits for this project available. Now, this pattern, I meant to say, it's actually, it doesn't say on it, actually I don't think, but I think at least part of the proceeds from the sale of the pattern go to a charity as well, so that's another good reason. And it's not a very expensive pattern, but it's very lovely and really nice and mindful to knit on. So that's how it's looking, and I'm really happy with it. So I started that just before we went away. So that was one of my new cast-ons. And then the other new project that I started was a sock. I always like to cast on a new sock on holiday, but I held off until the 1st of June so that I could join in with summer sock camp, and it's in my Harry Potter bag that was made for me by Craftmonger Law, my sister. It's got my chocolate frog pin on it, and this is a key ring that was made by Dude Burns Wood on Instagram, and that's Barry Lindsay Hutchinson's husband, who is Dye Candy Yarn. So I've got that on there as well. I really like the sound it makes on my project bag. I know I'm a little bit strange. So in here I've got, oops, strange little bag. This is Felt Fusion yarn in the colourway Hagrid, and I actually messaged Shadow the Dyer and asked her if she could dye me a skein of this because there wasn't any in the shop, but I saw Cherie from Ollie and Bella with the skein of this and she enabled me horribly. So this is the yarn, and I've got it on the sparkle sock, of course. And this is how far I've got. Because it's a Harry Potter themed knit, I'm using the Hermione's Everyday pattern. And this is a progress keeper, which is a hedgehog. But I just thought, Hagrid, magical creatures, I happen to think that hedgehogs are very witchy in their faces especially, so I thought that was very appropriate. There's my heel line, so that's how far I've got. I had to be quite limited in my knitting whilst we were away because the hand is still giving me a lot of jip. The physiotherapist has just rung this morning to say they're going to do a consultation with me tomorrow on the phone. So hopefully there will be progress on that soon. And this is what I'm going to use for the heels and toes, which is just an opal unicolor. Forest green, I think it's called. But I'm really loving the way that this is spiraling. And as always, the texture is fantastic. So that is my first sock for the summer sock camp, which is being run by Kay Litton, who is the crazy sock lady. And yeah, I think most people don't need me to tell you who she is or what summer sock camp is, to be quite honest. I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to knit more socks for summer sock camp, but I should just be grateful if I can knit any, really, shouldn't I? So the other thing I took away with me, I didn't actually get started because a lot of the time in the evenings I was working on my cross stitch, which is coming on. I've nearly finished Q3 of the 4 quarters of the design. And I took away my notebook with my pattern for my briar, thorny briar mittens, and I was going to knit them in a couple of yarns. This is some yarn that I dyed for a friend for Christmas last year and never got to make her anything. And then this is another one which is, oopsie-doo, I just tangled up with my needles. And it's called Over the Rainbow, which is one of my quite old, oh dear, yarn bath. One of my quite old colourways, but it's one of those micro striping flashy ones, and it looks really nice with this kind of pattern. So I'm going to make a pair of those, but it's living, when I get round to it, in this absolutely gorgeous project bag, which was made for me by Davina, who is FairyGlade82 on Instagram. Not only does she make gorgeous project bags and things, she doesn't sell them yet. It's lined with this really pretty yellow, but she's making gorgeous progress keepers and stitch markers and things. And what's really interesting about this is that she's using reclaimed beads and findings and things like that. So let me just take this off so I can hopefully hold it a bit better for you. So she put it on this really beautiful finding with 3 hooks on it, and then there's a leafy glass one. Don't know if you can actually see these. Come on, focus. Can't see what I'm doing now, but there's a glass leaf one, a ballerina, and then there's a really beautiful red teardrop shaped crystal. And these are all reclaimed from old jewellery and things like that, which I really like the idea of. And she might be going to sell some of those at some point. So if she does, I will keep you informed of her, where you can get her lovely things. Yeah, so I didn't get to start those whilst I was away because, well, as always, I completely overestimated what I was going to be able to get done. But that's what I was mainly working on. And then I've got 1 or 2 little other things to share. First of all, it was the Derbyshire Dyers Market night whilst we were away. It was a particularly quiet one, and I think that's because it's been Monty at home and various other different things. So I thought I'd just share with you what's left in case anybody's interested. The theme was fairy tale and folklore, and one that is obviously very close to home for me is the legend of Robin Hood, and one that's always really inspired me. So I've got these 2 skeins, which are Robin Hood himself. Nice sort of woodlandy greens and browns, really lovely variegation on sparkle. And then I've got 1 skein of Little John. Really nice sort of autumn colours. I think of him as an autumn kind of person, I don't know why. And then I have 2 skeins of Marion. And that's really lovely lilacs, blues with flashes of really dark plummy purple in it. Really nice speckling going on, look. So if you're in the market for a bit of sparkly yarn and you're interested in these, just drop me a message on here or on Instagram or Facebook. You can get me on any of those places, or failing that, you can email me at kettleylambs@gmail.com. I'm available in all those places if you would like some of that. I didn't buy an awful lot while I was on holiday, mostly because Suffolk is a very expensive place to go on holiday. And food and drinks and things ate up a lot of my money. But I wanted to share with you a few things I did get. I found this amazing card shop. No, it wasn't a card shop, it was a stationery shop in Southwold, and I think it was called Lift. But they had all these independent designed, look at that. That's for a friend who's just had a baby. How cool is that? And I just bought some cards which were, you know, appropriate for lots of different people. This is the one that Cosmo chose for his dad. Oh no, I think Ivy chose that one, and then I think Cosmo chose this one, number 1 dad. And then this one just reminds me of Play School and Sesame Street and all the kind of childhood things. So I got that to go in my, because I have a little collection of cards that I save just for everyday kind of stuff. I bought a couple of things in the kitchen shop in Woodbridge, but nothing very exciting to share. I like to have some little notelet cards, so when I send a parcel out, I've got something a bit, not a birthday card, to send a little note in. And I bought these in Southwold as well. These are Sarah Campbell designs. It's called Sweet Time, that one, pretty print. And then this is Jane Robbins foxgloves, and I really like those. And then the only other thing I bought was from the Eco Refill shop in Woodbridge, and it's these lovely, God, I can't remember what the word is, resin hair clips. This one is mine. Ooh, that's a bit sparkly, look. I had to have a big one to show up in my hair. And then this one is for Ivy. very golden and pretty for her hair. So that's it really. That's all I've got to share with you. I've got to pop and get the children now and think about starting getting tea ready and things. But I will be back with another vlog very soon and some more information about Christmas in July, which will be, there'll be a big shop update coming sort of towards the second half of June. So I will be back with information about that and a discount code for you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you again very soon.